Britain has had its empire. It has passed its empire. It happens to every empire.
Do you think it's over?
It's changed. This is what happens to all empires, to all rulers, to everything. They get fat and lazy.
This is the end.
Striving, and it's the striving that makes humans great.
That's it. Hashem is finished this place. Because remember, every empire was an empire for X amount of time. Usually, if you check history, 200 and change years. 200 years and change. And America is already 200 years. That's it. Once the end comes, Iran used to be an empire in the time of the Shah. Russia was an empire, they're starving there, most people today. Germany was an empire, it's a regular country now. The Greeks used to be an empire, they bankrupt small tiny country. Spain used to be a massive empire. They're bankrupt, they're begging people to come and take a Spanish passport that should pay $5,000. You know, Spain and Portugal, they both bankrupt. Philistines are not exist. England used to be occupied half of the world. Who is England? Terrible economy. So every one of these empires go one by one, nothing left from them. Same thing America. Why empire rise and collapse? Every once in a while, new empire dominant the world. It all connects to the Jews.
Israel want to give me some money, I'll take some, but I'm not paid by Israel. We would have been begging for this at last event. The funny thing is, for years the word was racist, extremist, Islamophobe. That was used to silence you, yeah? Because no one wants to be labelled as that. Now it's Mossad. Now it's simple. You work for Israel Mossad. Because there's a massive movement against Israel that's happened. People are, in our country especially, the left and the right are joining together. As well as the Islamists, they're all coming together. So the easiest answer to rebel what's happening is Israel's doing it, just like after every terrorist attack, Tyler. So literally I face that all the time. Do you know why that is, Tyler? I don't hate Jews. I believe that if there's 55 Islamic nations, why can't the Jews have one?
This danger in the world is if Esav and Yishmael ever came together, if they ever united. Says the Gemara, if Edom and Yishmael ever united, they would destroy the world. You can never mix Kayin and Hevel together. And that's why we wish both of these Ummahs in their war against each other, bracha v'hatzlacha. My message to both of them is we wish both of them tremendous hatzlacha. They should wipe each other out. No, none of this. Both sides should mamish be matzliach as much as possible. We wish both sides tremendous hatzlacha in their avodah of wiping out the other party.
שמע שמוחמד זה השם הכי נפוץ באנגליה, נכון? אז אנחנו רוצים שזה יהיה השם הכי נפוץ באנגליה ושיהיה המון מוחמד באנגליה, בשוודיה, בצרפת, לא פה, זה מה שאנחנו רוצים.
This needs to be frankly admitted by Jews all over the world that there are, without doubt, Jews involved in those movements and those organizations, very often NGOs, etc., who promote this phenomenon of third world immigration into the Western countries.
Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive. Europe will not survive.
Die hatten nicht vor, in die Hosentaschen zu gehen. Nein.
The German state of Bavaria has seen a nearly 50% rise in rape cases this year, while the number of rapes involving migrants has nearly doubled.
Das ist Deutschland. Hier werden Frauen geschlagen, hier werden Kinder geschändet und entführt.
Europe will not survive.
The biggest genocide in human history. The final solution of the Christian European problem. This crime demands a new set of Nuremberg trials, and you people will be in the dock.
The idea of having these refugees come into Europe, it's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply a fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along. This is the fulfillment of the Chazal and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.
Le Mashiach viendra que quand Édom, l'Europe, la chrétienté sera totalement tombée. Donc je vous pose la question, c'est une bonne nouvelle que l'islam envahisse l'Europe? C'est une excellente nouvelle, ça annonce la venue de Mashiach. Excellente nouvelle.
It's the end of days. You're going to need the iron of Esav, which represents Edom, which is the West, Europe, and the Americas, to get intermixed with Ishmael, which is basically Arabs and Muslims. How in the world was this ever going to happen if not for this refugee crisis? At the end of days, you're going to have this intermixing between Esav, Edom, which is the West, and the East, which is the Muslims and the Arabs, making this through this influx into the world. And they're going to have children, I don't want to say by the dozens, but they're going to have a far larger birth rate than the indigenous people there, and they're going to sort of conquer by number. And there are many different sources for this. One of them in Yehezkel, chapter 14, and many other sources as far as this is concerned, where it's mentioned very, very vividly what will happen to the Jews and what will happen to Yerushalayim and what will happen to the world at that time, where there will be many, many people killed and so on and so forth. So the idea of having these refugees come into Europe, it's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply a fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along. This is the fulfillment of the Chazal and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.